All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. I'm sorry I missed you yesterday. It has been crazy busy with the launch of our new mentoring programs and some of the things that we're doing. But I'm really excited to be back because today I want to share with you a couple of thoughts specifically from Ryan Holiday. You know, he's one of my favorite authors. He wrote The Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy, Stillness is the Key. But he wrote, I'm not sure if it's a book or a short PDF or what, but it's called Courage is Calling. And it's one of his earlier works that I really feel has some really good points in it that I want to bring out. So I want to talk to you today about that. But before I do, I'm going to give you the Daily Mastermind quote of the day. If you have the Daily Mastermind mobile app or you've been on our Instagram page, you've already seen that. And the quote is, life is largely a matter of expectation. Life is largely a matter of expectation. How many times have you set expectations on your life and absolutely you're going to determine whether or not those expectations are met or not? So, be careful what you set your expectations with, and don't shoot small. Think big. So today I want to talk to you about Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. I'm going to share with you just a couple of little excerpts from it. I might be able to do a few more of these this next week, but I really love the take of Stoicism that Ryan Holiday has really built his works around, and this idea of courage is so important. So let me read to you a couple of things right out of that book, and just maybe a couple of sections and give you a couple of my thoughts, and I hope it can help you in your daily life and also something you can use over the weekend. He says, today each of us receives our own call to service, to take a risk, to challenge the status quo, to run towards while others run away, to rise above our station, to do what people say is impossible. There's so many reasons why this will feel like the wrong thing to do. There will be incredible pressure to put these thoughts, these dreams, this need out of our mind. Depending on where you are and what you seek to do, the resistance we face may be simple incentives or outright violence. Fear will make itself felt. It always does. Will we let it prevent us from answering the call? Will we leave the phone ringing? Or will we inch ourselves closer and closer, steeling ourselves, preparing ourselves until we're ready to do what we were put here to do? And that's a thought that I wanted to bring up with you because I think many of us know in our lives what we need to do and how we need to do it to create the best versions of our lives. But what we do is we let fear stand in our way. We let our courage get set aside and we let the fear take over. So he goes on to say, we defeat fear with logic. It's been said that leaders are dealers in hope, but in a more practical sense, they're also slayers of fear. Fear, as we know, is an acronym for false evidence appearing real. The part of your brain that sees the worst, that extrapolates out the craziest scenarios and consistently underestimates your ability to handle it. This is not your friend, nor is it the truth. The voice that roots against you, the tendency to catastrophize and exaggerate, this is not helpful. It's not giving you an accurate picture of the world, and it's certainly not making you braver. So tell yourself, it's just money. It's just a bad article. It's just meeting with people yelling at one another. It's something. Is it really something you need to be afraid of? Break it down. Look at it. Investigate. And I love that thought because I think sometimes we have to step back when we're in a place of fear and we have to ask ourselves, what is it really? Is it really just something scenario that we're putting in our heads that's starting to kind of get out of control? Is it something that is real, or are we creating our own fears? And I know that we're hardwired in our DNA to kind of protect ourselves from bad things. But as you know, listening to the Daily Mastermind, I continue to emphasize that your best life lives outside your comfort zone, and your best life lives on the other side of your fear. So I really love that this principle he talks about is we defeat fear with logic. Really break it down and make sure, because then you can see what's really there. And then there's another section he has called This is the Enemy. At the root of most fear is what other people will think of us. We can't, and this is important because I think most of us deal with this today, especially with social media and all of the public personas that people are trying to put out there. You can't let fear rule you, because there's never been a person who did something that mattered without pissing somebody off, right? There's never been a charge that was not met with doubts. There's never been a movement that has not been mocked. There's never been groundbreaking business that wasn't loudly predicted to fail. And there has never ever been a time when the average opinion of faceless, unaccountable strangers should be valued over our own judgment. And that is something you've got to remind yourself. The bottom line is this: nothing good was ever done. Think about it. Nothing big in life was ever done without meeting objection, without meeting criticism, without meeting critics. So think about it and think to yourself next time you have fears of what people will think, and that's your big fear. Think about that and think, maybe I'm on the right track. Maybe I'm doing something that's going to be big. Maybe I'm doing something that's worth doing because I'm being criticized. Then, and only then, I believe, you will start to value and appreciate the criticism rather than react and be stifled by it. That's such a huge thought. And there's one more thought I wanted to share with you, and it is this, and it's a great suggestion, and it's a great thing for you to add to your life. Focus on what's in front of you. It doesn't matter who you are. You've probably got something to be worried about. And, is this worrying really helping you? No, it distracts and obsesses us. It takes us down rabbit holes of doubt and insecurity through fantasies of extrapolation and doomsday predictions. All cognitive cost taking us away from the actual task at hand. There's plenty for you here right now. That's why the Stoics talk about sticking with first impressions. Just what you see, what's here. Not everything else that may or may not someday sort of might happen or be related to it. This call you have to make, that check you got to write, the tightrope that you're walking, whatever it is, Ryan Holiday talks about, it's enough. You don't have to add to it. You don't have to add to it. And I love that thought, because what we're talking about here in these 3 suggestions and thoughts I shared with you, what we're talking about is your ability to be in control of your life, in control of your mind and your thoughts. And a lot of times you can't control those fears, but if you can consciously learn to train yourself to step back and look at what's real and try to analyze why you're afraid. Maybe it's because you're just afraid of the opinions of others. And when you realize that those opinions just maybe mean that you're on the right track, you can continue to push forward. And when you realize that some of the fears you have are just made up in your mind and may never happen, you can push forward. And when you realize that what's in front of you is really something you can handle, and what everything else you're loading on it is not something you have to be worried about, then you can continue to create your best life. So that's my message for you today. I really believe that if you step into your fear and you implement the courage that we all have inside of us, the more you exercise that muscle of courage, the more it's going to grow, the stronger it's going to be. And if you do that, you're going to have an amazing life. So that's my message for you today. I hope you take that over the weekend and really drive home what it is you could step into in your life. And I look forward to talking with you on Monday. This has been the Daily Mastermind. Go and hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. Do me a favor, and it'd mean the world to me. It'd mean the world to the community. Share this episode. Share it with someone that you know, and you'd be surprised what kind of difference it might make in their life. And I look forward to talking with you on Monday. Have an amazing weekend. We'll talk with you soon.